The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. An exciting ride, to say the least. The ability to stream has been shut off again. So we're trying to scramble and get this back on its feet, and so that we can hit everybody on Facebook. We got Cory Roman going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. We're already about 15 minutes late on Cory. It has been a busy couple weeks. Appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us here this evening. Brian is in studio as well. So there's a good look at Brian as he is also trying to get everything. He's my eyes on Facebook to tell me what yeah, we're not good on Facebook, are we? I despise. You know the improvements that keep being made to Facebook? Yeah, that's where I'm at with those. I don't care for it a whole lot. We'll do the best that we can to keep everything up and running. I got to get a hold of Cory here. Cory is waiting in the wings as well. Local derbies taking off like crazy. It has been very busy. They've crowned a minivan champion of the world down in Pennsylvania with Hardcore Demolition Derby. We'll be talking about those results. We've got some stuff coming up, not just from King of Ohio, but also from the Smash It realm. We've got some stuff from hey Cory, let me put you in. All sorts of news coming to you here on this edition number 362. Brian, is there any Derby cars in your future? Are you working on anything?
No, this is going to be a year off. Zach leaves July 30th.
Yeah.
So with that going on, and then with the way things are going at work, there's just no real time for it.
Sure.
A week ago, I got ordered 3 times in 4 days to work doubles, so things have been, and plus we've just been crazy busy. This past weekend we had 6 graduation parties, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, things have been crazy and expensive and so on and so forth. So Derby is going to take a back seat for the summer. Knock on wood, hopefully there's next year.
Hopefully. Yeah, I always like it when you say that. So, I got, Jesus Christ. I don't think anybody even heard anything that you said. Thankfully, there's only one person watching. Boy, this is...
Chris, take a deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth.
Yeah, I know.
Namaste.
What I should have done is just when stuff didn't work, quit trying to shove it through the eye in the top of the needle. You know what I mean? When it's crashing and burning, sometimes the best thing to do is just try it again another day.
But you fixed it. Here we are.
It's not fixed. It's not.
So what do you do? Record it and post later?
No, because there's not enough space on the computer to record it. So what a pickle. But we will persevere. Cory Roman is joining us on the line. More importantly, Cory has some fun things to talk about. If nonetheless it falls on his face, we'll do it again. I at least want to give the opportunity to recognize Cory and sticking through things. A 3-day King of Ohio happening with Triple D Promotions, Triple D Entertainment, and over in Lima, Ohio. And Cory bringing the championship back to the Commonwealth. It was awesome to watch. It was a fun feature. Everything leading up to that point, there was some struggles that Cory had to persevere through, but nonetheless brought the championship back as the only driver from out of state. So congratulations, Cory. Tell me a little bit about it.
Thanks a lot. I missed your question at the end there. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. You're a little faint in the background.
Yep, I can crank that stuff up. You should be able to hear me a little bit better now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. If we got to turn them all up, we'll turn them all the way up. So you should be able to hear us a little bit better on those settings, hopefully. Just to be able to bring that championship home as the first full-size winner at the King of Ohio, it's got to be special.
I mean, absolutely. Anytime you go to a big show like that and get a win out of town, I mean, always feels good. I mean, there wasn't a bad person on that track. Everybody's at least won one feature in the last year,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels good to win a derby like that. I mean, there's definitely no slouches out there.
It looked like it was a pretty hard-hitting show from what your car looked like in Victory Lane afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty fast pace. I mean, it was a good. I think I don't know. Did it even last a half hour? I mean, it was a pretty fast derby, fast pace. I mean, there was nowhere to hide. That was for sure.
Right. The show itself certainly was. The feature itself was pretty quick. Each of the nights were fairly quick. We've talked about how, sometimes fans aren't exactly on board with the epic long features. And,
Truth.
And they certainly did their part to make sure that pushed through and the pace was pushed all 3 days. Car count played into that as well, but I mean that's a conversation for another time. The feature itself, it also seemed like with as hard as the track was, that steering was going away quick for some folks. And when they lost the steering, they just kind of became sitting ducks and got pushed into the corner and couldn't battle out of it. Your car was doing great until it almost looked like, I don't know, maybe the plate was in the wrong place or something, but all of a sudden you made one essentially going for a kill shot, and it stood the nose up on that Crown Vic. Did it have you nervous at all that the way that the nose went essentially in one hit?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was hard till it wasn't. There's no doubt about it. I mean, sorry. It actually ended up breaking. I broke the frame off about 3/4 of the way up.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, underneath my A-arms.
Wow.
I ended up snapping the frame off. But yeah, I mean, I went for a wheel shot on Trace, and I missed. I caught him in the door bar, and I saw the driver's side go up a little bit, and I knew he didn't have steering, and I knew as hard as his car was that I just had to turn it up and try and get it done as soon as I can because it was going to go bad, much as it been in one hit there. And sure enough, I made one or two more good hits, and that front A-arms forward, I mean, it was sticking straight up in the air, so
Yeah.
luckily I didn't have to battle through too many more people.
Right. One of the challenges that you're facing there is we saw earlier in the weekend, I can't remember what class it was, but somebody sheared the pulley off a water pump in a situation like that where the front end went way up and it took the pulley right off the front of the engine.
Wow.
You weren't necessarily going to have that happen with your engine with the combination that you got, but at the same time, it's something that's in the back of your mind because you don't get to see the front of the car the way that we do when we're sitting in the announce booth,
Well, I knew I could see the corners of my bumpers through my firewall, and I knew they went up, and I could hear the fan hitting the radiator, so I knew things weren't good.
Right.
That's a bad sound.
I didn't know how the extent was, and I started looking out the driver's side window to be able to see what was going on around. So, I mean, I had a pretty good idea how bad it was. Wasn't sure where or what it did, but I knew it was up in the air.
How much discussion was there in the staging lanes when you guys were getting ready to come out for that? When I saw you earlier in the day, you still had a lot of work to do. Let's go back. You got really, really creative in terms of trying to set the back end of that Crown Vic.
Yeah. I mean, Dustin Kidd got in me pretty bad in the heat there. I mean, he took the whole back end of that thing sideways. So, I mean, Davey Chapman and Davey Jr. and Zach Lease, I mean, them guys busted their ass, I think, till 3:30 in the morning Saturday. Well, I guess Sunday morning. And then back up again 7:30, 8 o'clock to get that thing on the track. I mean, we tried a whole bunch of things, and it just kept ripping, and it wasn't good back there.
Well, earlier in the day, it's quiet. fairgrounds are quiet, which is an eerie. It was an eerie thing at like 1 PM. You're at a fairgrounds, and there was no derby motors or anything because all the inspections were done, all the work was essentially done. We were just waiting for the derby to start, and all of a sudden we hear a motor touch off, and we look over and it's Cory. He's pulling out onto the track. The track, to set the scene, the track was split in two so that two heats could run almost simultaneously. You'd be clearing one side as the other.
Run the other,
So he's on the side of the track that hasn't been used all weekend, and he tunes it up and just rips it right into the wall. And he's backing into the corner, into the 90-degree corner, and trying to set the rear end.
Yeah.
And when that didn't quite do exactly what he wanted to do, there was some light impromptu derby action against one of the mod trucks in the pits to help set the back. It was really cool. I mean,
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's something that
Derby guys, man, they're a genius.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily ready to award honorary engineering degrees to MIT or anything, but I thought it was pretty neat when you gotta work with what you got.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I knew if I went on the track how it was, and I got a hit from the side, I was in a lot of trouble. It was going to go out. Humps were going to bend out into the tires. It wasn't going to be good. And my first thought was to hit the barriers. I wasn't sure. I don't really know the guys. I mean, I didn't know them at all. We talked to them a little bit there earlier in the day that had the trucks there, so I didn't really want to ask him to do it because my luck, something would fly up and take the guy's radiator, something.
Right.
So I was smacking the barriers a little bit. It actually wasn't, it was going to break, it started cracking the barrier a little bit, so we pulled the plug on that, and I went over and asked him if he could hit the back of my car once or twice, and he had no problem. He threw it in reverse, told me to point where and what angle, and I did. He hit it 2 or 3 times, and went right where we wanted it to, and we went back and threw a little bit of 9-wire on it, and called her good.
Good to go.
So when I saw you shortly after all that had happened, and you're getting ready to head over to the drivers' meeting, you felt pretty good about getting on the podium, if nothing else, getting some points there, or getting on the podium, finishing with a little bit of money. What was the tension like and the discussion like in the line staging to come out onto the track?
Really, I don't think there was much tension at all. I think everybody pretty much knew who was with who and who wasn't, and we went out there, and it really wasn't too bad. I mean, it was kind of everybody for themselves. It wasn't too much teaming going on. It was pretty normal. It wasn't bad, wasn't good, but it's a good fast heat. Everybody hitting everybody kind of thing.
The format of it was designed to take that out. So as you pulled out onto the track, you had to eliminate 2 other cars that were done at a random draw, and after that you were in the feature. It didn't matter how many cars were still running around you. We got to see that in full effect during the compact flights. There was 2 flights for the compacts with 8 cars in one and 9 in the other, and as they pulled out, 3 cars got painted red, 3 cars got painted blue, 3 cars got painted yellow, and they derbied amongst each other. But we didn't see any overlap. Like, nobody from blue ended up hitting somebody from red just to try to help a buddy that happened to have drawn red. So everybody kind of stayed unto their heat. So 3 heats happening at the same time. The full-size cars ended up getting broken up, so it was 3-car heats. So there was 3 cars on the track at one time, and you had to eliminate the other 2 in order to get your path through. And there was no last chance qualifiers either. So Cory got through facing. Knowing that there was only going to be 5 other cars going into the feature. So once you eliminated those 2, you had these wild factors with some of the Imperials. Tyson Combs had a 65 Lincoln Town Car. Or I can't believe I said that.
Yeah, a Chrysler wagon with a Imperial subframe under it.
Yeah, 60, and it was a pretty gnarly car. His wagon was pretty brutal. A bunch of the Imperials were real strong. So those cars were going to be out there, but what kept coming up and kept coming up and kept coming up is steering kept breaking. It kept really being a recurring factor. So Cory went in having a chance to know that he was going against 6 cars for $10,000, and it set the stage for really an interesting feature, and a lot of that team driving and stuff more or less got taken out of it. There wasn't a whole lot of that left over.
Coming in, didn't Trace Braun have a big fire too? Like he's at his shop. Like it could have been.
He had a field fire. I don't know, 2 weeks before the Derby or something.
Yeah, and I saw like one picture online, and it looked like it could have been like really bad, like not just Derby car, but like it looked like it was close to his garage, which I think is close to the house.
He was telling me it took his doors, his garage door, a couple windows, some stuff inside. It was real close, he was saying. Real close to losing everything.
That's scary.
It's
yeah.
The situation was exacerbated when they ran to jump in the truck to hook it up to the Derby car and drag the car out of the garage, and the keys weren't in the truck, so they had to go get the keys.
Oh my gosh!
Back to it was a
scary,
very harrowing instance. So
glad it all worked out.
It did. It did. It was okay. Could have been far worse. And remember, it was a couple years ago one of the Brauns had a tornado hit.
Yes. Yeah, and destroyed their house, I believe.
I think it knocked over the wagon tree.
No, because they still have this. But and I see that. Go figure. The Braun wagon was pretty tough. That's
Yeah, that's.
It was a very hard car.
And he's going to be able to run that car again. By no means was it totaled, but you were doing some pretty strategic driving out there, Cory, trying to make sure that you didn't get in the crosshairs, get in the path of that wagon as it worked around the track. There was a little bit of, I guess, some urgency. I wouldn't say it necessarily got to a point where it was frantic, but there was certainly some urgency to make contact. And Trace was out there trying to help the judges, letting them know that he scraped, he made contact, and so what was that last little bit like? I mean, you can hear the ticking, you can hear everything banging around under the hood, you can see the edges of the bumpers are way up in the air. You don't want to make any more crazy hit than you necessarily need to, because you don't want to start causing additional problems for your car. And you're watching the clock, just thinking this has got to be just about out of time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it felt like a pretty long minute inside the car. I had a little bit of steering. I had a broken tie rod, and I lost my power steering belt with that hydro steer. You still have power. You still have steering, but you got to turn the wheel about 300 times, I think, to get a quarter of a turn. So I just had enough that when he went across the middle, I could tap him just to make sure I. What's that?
Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. Just to make sure I was getting the last hits on him. I didn't want to go too fast and miss him, and then get in a spot where I was behind or in front of him, to where he could get the last hit on me, because neither one of us were getting around good. So.
And it wasn't even necessarily the steering that ended up doing him in. It was just the way that the back end had sunk, and he basically high centered on the rear end.
Really?
Right? If I remember.
No, I thought he lost all steering.
Oh, okay. It must be he ran out of time then down in the corner, because at one point.
Yeah, he ran out of time. He just started hitting the wall as hard as he could to try and steer them. Walls, cars. He was hitting whatever he could to do whatever he could to try and get to me.
Now, why? We've seen you build a Cadillac or 2 or 10, and obviously you've had pretty good success with them. Why did you pick a Ford over a Cadillac?
I've been wanting to try one. It was the first new style I've ever built, start to finish. And actually, I had Tyson Combs actually did a lot of the cage and body and frame work on it for me, because I just didn't have enough time. But I wanted to be a little more nimble and with the different format. I thought maybe I'd get an edge, because I figured a lot of people would try running full framers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know the one I've drove, it didn't turn worth crap,
Yeah, they're not real nimble.
I figure if I had something to get around a little bit better, maybe I'd luck into drawing, 2 full framers or something, and be able to kind of drive circles around them and catch wheels.
Yeah.
So Brad Bowersock had a 66 Imperial that he was running out there, and the power steering pump went on it, and he took it out to the heat with no power steering.
Good for him.
Wrestling.
Yeah, I saw him leaving inspection, and he was fighting it then too.
Wow.
he was a trooper, man.
He ended up getting power steering back, and then early on, I can't remember who got him. It messed up the right front wheel, and the right front wheel folded perpendicular to the frame.
Ooh.
So, he got it down to third though.
Was he the one that had the real small tires on it? Because I seen one go
the
through.
Blue one.
Yeah,
Blue
okay.
10.
Because I saw some pictures, but I didn't see any of the show, so I was wondering how that car ended up. That's cool.
Yeah, he was a trooper, man. He was tough as they come. He was more or less a pillow out there for a little while. I mean, he didn't have steering, just doing whatever he could do to stay in. And I mean, the guy wouldn't give up. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, definitely. So, what's next on your calendar? Where are you building for next?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I was planning on maybe I got to talk to Golly. You guys having a show, limited weld kind of kicker class type show over in Northeast PA somewhere. He was talking about. I kind of got to touch base with him, see if that's still happening or what. But I might try and get there, and I don't know. Probably throw my kicker car back together and go run the Big Wing class at Iron City Nationals there for the Ciopas, and that's probably about all I'll do. Still not in my house yet, so.
Oh yeah, I was just going to ask if you were going to make it to the Iron City Nationals. I figured that was in your home state. I mean, maybe you'd be able to sneak out there for a quick run or two.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to support them guys. I broke too many blocks. I like the full protector classes, so I try and steer away from those pro stock rules.
I've heard a few guys say that.
Yeah, I mean, it gets too expensive.
Yep.
You going to stick with this new style build? You going to stick with the Crown Vics, or are you going to go back to the old stuff?
I'm undecided. The back of that did not quite live up to expectations. That was one of the 2010s.
Yeah.
It had all the goodies in it. And, I mean, I don't know. There were things I liked about it, things I didn't like. I really, honestly haven't even looked at the car. I fired it up just to make sure it still started the other day, and it's just been sitting in my yard with a tarp over it. I gotta tear it down, assess it, and see what we can do different on the next one if we can make it better.
Is the 2010 something different in terms of the back end, or having a harder rear frame section versus, we generally hear everything lumped together with the 03 and up?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple extra guesses here and there.
Yeah.
Not a ton different, but a little bit.
I was really surprised how many of the mid-90s Lincoln Town cars were out there, especially in the rear-wheel drive stock class. There was a lot of those slab side. Like when we went out there and saw Markley run the one.
Yep.
There was a lot of those, and I was surprised because that fad hasn't caught on up here yet.
Yeah. I think for the newer cars like that, we've touched on it, but there's so much to run, and Cory, if I am wrong, then please straighten me out. But to build one of those cars, I mean, it's a lot of work to get one to run. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you got to change and a lot of stuff you got to build, and unless you're just going to run it as something stock, then where you change bumpers, then it's. But I mean, if you're actually going to build it, there's a lot of time that goes into those cars. I mean, they're definitely not just a throw together and go car. I wouldn't say. Cory, how do you feel about that?
Well, some of those Lincolns, the early '90s ones, I think the reason you see some of them or more of them in those classes now. Some of those have regular control arms. They have the older style spindles, older style A arms. And they're the newer body style, I think 94 is the cutoff on them, and then there's some iffy years in there that there was a little, some had them, some didn't.
Yeah.
It might be some of the reason why. I know a lot of people around here that when they started having those 80 and newer classes like that, would run them because they were a little bit longer, that their old iron sliders worked in them a little bit better. I don't know if those were even allowed in that class or not. I never read their rules for that there. So.
you know who else got to take home those giant crown trophies out there. Hopefully everybody tuned in. If you didn't, you can go back and watch on demand on Derby Nation. Look up the King of Ohio. Brendan Wisman should be a familiar name. He got the rear-wheel drive win over Jacob Luchik, Richard Davis, Chandler Napier. Luchik is a New York driver. Brendan Wisman, of course, he won Bash for Cash, picked up a win to qualify over there on the border of Ohio, the Mod Compacts. Howard Winter, he met his wife at that fairgrounds 20-some or 30-some years ago.
That's awesome.
And promised that this was going to be his last Derby.
Wow.
And came away with a win in the Mod Compacts. It was a good
That's
good
how
run,
you do
too.
it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. Justin Thomas took the win over Mitch Loy in the trucks. And the youth side, Austin Finfrock got the win there. That Richard Reprogel was second place. I almost think Austin said that was his first Derby, but I can't recall. As we said, Cory Roman taking the win there in the King class over Trace Braun. Third place was Ben Bowersock. In the front-wheel drive heat, Philip Carney got the win over Josh Stevenson there. That's the rundown on the results from the King of Ohio and Lima. Cory, is there anybody else that you want to make mention of here before we let you go to help get the team to the track and make this happen for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously my wife and kids sacrifice a lot for me to be able to do it. My family, you know, just my whole family in general. You know, Davey Chapman, Zach Lees, Davey Jr. I actually dropped my car off at Davey's house the weekend before, and he actually finished it all up and hauled it out for me because I was hauling the camper. You know, Jim Radish and his boy James, they both helped out while the car was at Davies. And I mean, obviously all the people I get parts from, huge list. I can't even go through all that. You know, Brent Johnson at Redline's always there to help me when I need it.
Engine was a screamer.
That's a good running engine there. Yeah, he's best of the best there, if you ask me. I wouldn't put anybody else under the hood of my car. I mean, it helps. It doesn't hurt that he's 15 minutes away either. But
that comes in handy.
Yeah.
You talked about putting together your kicker car again, and we talked about the Imperials being out there as part of the show at King of Ohio. You going to be able to talk Davey Chapman into getting into a Cordoba or a subframe again anytime soon?
I don't know. I don't think he's. You might have a chance of seeing him run somewhere, but I have a hard time believing it's going to be in another Chrysler.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Yeah, we talked to Davey down to Bash, and I brought up that run in that Cordoba, and he still is not a fan. And I have never seen a Cordoba come apart like that. And I mean, he was obviously well built, but man, there was just something that didn't go right with that car, and it was bad. But
yeah, that one blew apart.
Yeah, that was bad. You know, I was just going to mention, you know, the last time we were on, somebody else had mentioned Davey. And Davey is just a derby dude. Like, you know, he was inspecting for the Smith Metalworks youth class. You know, Cory just mentioned him helping with, you know, Davey's son as well. He's just one of those guys, man. He's just a good dude. Likes to help others. So, you know, Davey's one of those great guys we've met through Derby.
Oh, he's a machine, man. He's been. I don't even know how many. I bet you he's had to put 70 or 80 trannies out this spring. You know, from spring till now, a handful of rear ends. I mean, he's helped a couple different people put cars together. I mean, he's literally. I talk to Davey multiple times a week, and he is. If he's not at work or asleep, he's 95% of the time in that garage doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, he lives for it, and that's what he does.
Yeah, he's definitely into it, man. It was just funny, you know, because like I said, the last time I remember being on, somebody was talking about David giving him a hand doing something, and you know, we've seen him, and so definitely a derby guy, man.
Oh, that dude will do anything for you. I mean, He helped me in my Vegas car. I mean, it was out at his garage 2 weekends getting work done on it. Obviously flew all the way out to Vegas to help. He helped on, this King of Ohio car, and was out there, no question, Zach. I mean, him and Zach both. Guys both, man, they're about as good a guys as you can get.
For sure.
Once you get moved into your house, is it going to be weird having a bunch of half trophies since you have to cut all these trophies in half and leave half of them with Davey?
I should. Between these ones that I won, which isn't helping me, and the ones that we've split the purse on throughout the years. There's a lot of them.
Now the question is is the Derby stuff going to be allowed into the new house, or is that going to have to stay in the shop?
Well, I'm not one to leave them in the garage. They get too dirty. I don't think they're going to be allowed in the living room. Definitely, I think they're going to end up in the loft.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which you can see from the living room. So.
There you go.
All right.
There was a press conference for all the drivers, and Cory was part of that. Tyson, I said, so what are you going to do if you won the King of Ohio trophy? What are you going to do with it? And it was all this gorgeous powder coated and plasma cut steel. And he goes, you got plates, or you need to weld a piece of metal back in, or patch a hole, or put a door together. That's metal's right there. So he was kind of making a joke that he was going to cut it up and use it as fix-it plates.
Well, I mean, if it would. I mean, you see how easy his car bent out there?
Oh man, that's brutal.
I told him today. I told him and Schumann both. They both run their mouth that whole press conference. I let him forget about it. Gave him a week to forget about it. Now it's my time to bust their balls a little bit.
That's funny.
Was it Tanner Voyers? He had a really good subframer.
Yeah, he had a good. They actually had a full framer. That was a hard build.
I don't even remember who had what at this point.
Yep, that was a good solid car.
Yep.
That kid's gonna be something to reckon with. I'm not sure how old he is, but he's definitely in his early 20s. He's a young one yet. But he's surrounded. He's got a bunch of good. The guys over there helping him were no joke either. He had Lovejoy's over there. He had Jim Youngblood. He had some good dudes helping him.
That's cool.
Sure. Well, excellent. Congratulations on it, man. I was very happy to see that, and I anticipate it'll probably be a little tougher to qualify for it next year.
Well, I'm already qualified.
Past champion.
Yeah, because it would have counted. It might be a little tougher to win it again next year, then. How about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I'm still scratching my head to why the guys didn't show up.
I don't know.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the fact that a PA guy took the money out of Ohio. I'm thinking the PA guys or the Ohio guys are going to be a little grumpy next year in the future.
Yeah,
they might pay a little attention to Mr. Roman.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's. Them guys were all a good group of guys. There wasn't. Everybody there. I didn't talk to anybody that didn't have respect for anybody else on that track. It didn't matter where you're from.
Yep.
I'm sure they didn't want to see it leave town. The Allen boys there. I think that's their hometown fair. That's the county they grew up in.
Wow.
Them guys definitely wanted to keep it there.
And those guys are going to get qualified for next year anyway. They're going to get qualified back around, and they're going to have their moment in the sun. It's a lot of fun joking around stuff, but there was a lot of mutual shared respect, and unfortunately some guys just had bad breaks in the heats, and with no consolation round, that it is what it is.
That's the good thing. I mean, you go to a big show like this and everybody realizes, hey, it's whoever wins this is going to earn it. So I mean, that's that makes things I think there's a level of respect going on the track, and guys, it's just it's good to see these big shows and they're how they turn out. Guys working hard to win, and it's really a pretty big competition out there.
Yeah, I mean that everybody I talked to that ran that show. I mean, everybody came up and talked to me after. The two guys in my heat, they both all weekend, their whole rest of the weekend. Every time I saw them, they'd stop and made sure they'd go out of their way to talk to me. I mean, there was a pretty high level of respect between everybody on that track. So
that's always good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Cory, man, again, congratulations on it. We look forward to maybe we'll have another conversation like this after the Keystone Nationals too, after you dust off that weld car.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember it or not, but when we talked here this spring, you kind of called this coming out of retirement and winning this show.
All right,
it's a way to do it.
Yeah, I like where your head's
at. All right. I'm always available if you need additional life coaching.
Yeah.
Now, if you turn around and win Keystone Nationals after this, sort of as a premonition of some sorts, it's going to become habit, and I don't know if I'm going to want to have that pressure anymore.
Well, I mean, if you just say the words, say I'm going to win it. That's all I need to do. That's all I need to do.
Everybody gets one, right? Awesome. Let's put a pin in it, and we'll catch up again in the fall.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Have a good one.
Congratulations, Cory. We'll see
Have
you
a
later.
good one. Thanks.
Bye now. There goes Cory Roman picking up a win. I got to be honest, I don't remember that. And
well, you have been concussed since then.
I am having a hard time. I'm not gonna lie. It's been. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow.
No, it's been longer than that.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
It'll
at
be
least
3
3
weeks.
because the first week we didn't go.
Because we didn't have a show. We didn't have a show, and then we had one leading up to King of Ohio, and we didn't have one after King of Ohio. And today was the first day that I really felt like a little bit of motivation was back. It has felt like I've been just walking through sand trying to do anything. And it's not even like the to-do list is super long right now.
Yeah.
There's just some stuff that's got to get done and got to get caught up on. And like it's just been nothing. And I haven't been able to really concentrate and dial in. Even when I start to do stuff, I feel like I'm chasing my tail and moving from topic to topic and just bouncing all over the place. And it's been a little bit more challenging than I was
hoping.
Yeah.
They luckily I haven't had that bad of a concussion. My role when I was younger, teen and early 20s, but you're not as young and spry as you once used to be.
No, and you start stacking concussions up and start going into the middle stages of double digits. It's not good.
Hey, the nice thing is once you completely lose your mind, you get to meet somebody new every day. So it'll be.
See, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if that's really the best way to go. We were talking about that, and then it's gone. Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Terry Funk having some
dementia.
Real issues with dementia. It's got to be miserable, with all the accolades and the amazing career that he's had, and he doesn't even know it.
Unfortunately, I think you're going to see a lot of those older, and you have seen a lot of those older wrestlers go through that, But
Jim Neidhart had something like that.
Yeah. I'm surprised Mick Foley doesn't yet. If there's anybody that's going to have it, it's going to be Mick Foley. But hopefully, you can, you don't have the same amount of damage done to the old gray matter that those guys have had.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But
that same part's been a target a couple times.
Yeah. The important part of your brain is really back here. The one controls breathing and stuff like that. This up here, that's all. We can mess with that stuff a little bit. There's more we can train to do what we got to do. But
is that the hypothalamus or is that the medulla oblongata?
The Mama said.
What? No,
from Waterboy.
Okay.
Remember, why is the alligator or crocodile so mean? Mama said the crocodile's so mean because he's got all those teeth and doesn't have a toothbrush. He said, no, he's mean because he's medulla oblongata.
All right, Proctorville was this weekend for the Unified Point Series. Andrew Libren picking up a win on the mower side of things. Mason Stacy got a win in the youth side over Terry Abadi and Braden Taylor. The pro stocks, TJ McCulloch took the win there over Tony Boggs and Nick Catalonga. Been a while since I've heard Nick's name come up. That's cool. Brandon Burgess got the win in the street stock mini class. Dalen Johnson, Austin Carpenter there through the top 3 in Columbus back on 4th of July weekend. Mike Patton got the win in the full-size stock over Andrew Whittington and Brock Heminger. TJ McCulloch got Mad Dog over there. Youth minis, Ronald Smith got the win over Jacob Fields and Jerry King. Superstock, Keith Lucas, Damian Phillips, and Lindsey Cravens through the top 3 there. Keith Lucas got the Mad Dog, and then the mini stocks, Nathaniel Bray got the win over Paul Lockridge. Steven Sickles was 3rd. Hopefully that was...
We're on YouTube somewhere. We're on Facebook. Did somebody tell you that?
Yes.
Okay.
I got that one right there. Facebook is up and working.
Chris Marquardt's the man.
Lee Sager and Alex Sager checking in. Those guys got a chance to hang out with them over the weekend.
Cool.
And Alex almost got a win in one of the fun runs that we had there, but whoever was running the clock ran it a little bit too fast and timed him out too early. And I promised that his 60-second shot clock
was at least 60 seconds.
It didn't shut off on him until it was at least 45, 46 ticks in. So that was fun. Lee had the King of Ohio online derby. Brandon Dobratz came up with a win in that. We had an update of points and updated on the schedule and updated on where everything was at. Joey Needham and Brandon Dobratz right now tied at the top with 50 points each.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Is Joey Needham related to the late Hal Needham?
That would be a question to ask. Was Hal Needham from Ohio?
I don't know, but Hal Needham was a very famous stuntman. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, Hal Needham bought in on the Skull Bandit.
Eventually, but you know how he got famous?
No.
Stunt work, and then he directed the Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes. Yep.
I knew something that Chris Marquardt did.
Yep.
That's a 1.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
Thanks, bud. I'm glad you finally let me have one, man. I feel amazing. That's my gold medal right there.
The only thing that I could come up with was Days of Thunder. I knew that wasn't it. That was a project with Robert Zemeckis and all those guys. But yeah, that's right. He was involved with Smokey and the Bandit, and then
Hooper and a bunch of Burt Reynolds movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Burt was the one that got the. I just watched a documentary on this, but Burt was the one that got the studio to let him direct it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yep, that was a big deal when those guys had there was another name on the Skull Bandit car, and I can't remember what the other one was. It was something in Needham on the C post when Harry Gant was driving that 33.
Hal and Burt.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Did it say Hal and Harry?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
But
it was a big deal when he got involved with it.
Yeah.
Harry Gant had some success in that car too.
September.
Yeah, that was much later in his career though.
But you're still Mr. September.
He did do that. We digress.
You digress. Sorry. Back to Smash.
Fun conversation. I enjoyed it. Unified Point Series coming up next. I left July the 10th on there because it's part of the 2-day show. Riverside riots are concluding on the 17th in Proctorville. July 26th and 30th, that's Ruts Fab, Butler County Fair in Hamilton, Ohio. July 31st and August the 7th, Smash's Preble County Fair in Eaton, Ohio. August the 6th is Hardcore's Destruction in Dunbar. Hardcore's Washington Warzone is after that on the 14th of August. Also that day, TNT's Branch County Fair in Coldwater, Michigan. Big Boys Mercer County Fair in Salina, Ohio is the 19th of August. The 20th and the 21st, TNT has shows back-to-back days. Berrien County Fair in Berrien Springs, Michigan, and then the Northern District Fair in Cadillac, Michigan. Steven Sickles has been on an absolute tear. He's built up a 50... I'll pick up on this in a second. Steven Sickles has been on a tear, has now a 50-point lead. Don Santel could double his total and still be 10 points behind. 90 points for Steven Sickles. Don Santel second with 40. Jordan Rutherford sitting in third with 36. And TJ McCulloch sitting up there. That should be 30 points, I believe. So I got a mistake on those points, but we'll get that straightened out for everybody. Stay up to date online, UnifiedSeries.com. Unified 527UnifiedSeries.com for details online. Jeffy's Fab Farm. Jeffy suffered a big loss in his life, so we're thinking about Jeffy.
Yeah. I did see that.
instrumental player in his Demolition Derby career. So we're thinking about Jeffy and his loss. That's real unfortunate to hear about that. Recognized as an industry leader in all manner of purpose-built Demolition Derby parts, starting with rear ends in 06. Jeffy's Fab Farm expanded to headers in 08. The shop can boast a combined 70-plus years of mechanical skill. Jeffy's Fab Farm specializes in LS conversions and conversion components. With consistent feature wins across North America, your turnkey solution is only a phone call away. Jeffy's Fab Farm Camry in a Box campaign sets you up for success for a retail price of $525. You need to ask about the multi-fit shifter options. You'll also find fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedal switches, and gauges if you need it. It's on the farm, jeffhughesfabfarm.com. Smith Metalworks. We've talked a lot about Smith Metalworks, all-purpose fabrication shop that has taken the Northeast by storm. They feature more than 40 years of combined metalworking experience, and the hallmark of the product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers, replicating popular factory releases. They can be stuffed or run hollow. There's also a compact version of the pointed bumper. Other items include crown vac, door skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, pedal combos, and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributor clamps and weld-in centers. Be sure to ask about the GM floor liners, in-person locations in Mercer, Uniontown, and Bethlehem. Experience and passion, second to none. SmithMetalworks.info. I don't know if you saw this. Travis Charlson came up with a win at St. Mary promoted show up in the North Country. Travis Charlson in the compacts.
Cool.
We saw him drive one of his trademark brown number 31s to a win. I didn't overbook our guest list because I thought that there was a very real chance that it would be the surface of the sun hot in here, but the rain has helped, so we probably could have loaded up with more interviews. But I mean, there's always the issue of the fact that we once again struggled getting Facebook to work after we've done it 200 times,
at least,
struggling and laboring. I feel real lost. I don't know what's going on. I guess the microphones aren't working very well either for my side. I've got the thing cranked up, but
yeah, I can hear you echoing.
Huh?
I can hear you echoing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All the better.
Yeah.
You might be actually be able to hear the headset.
Yeah, it could be it.
We can actually turn that down now.
Yeah, when you were talking,
Smash It Demolition Derbies. The Montgomery County Fair is happening right now out in Dayton, Ohio. They're going to be running again at Montgomery County Fair on the 16th of July. The 17th is the Madison County Fair in London. Fayette County Fair in Washington Courthouse, Ohio is the 22nd and the 24th. Also on the 24th is the Franklin County Fair in Hilliard. Clark County on the 25th. Claremont on the 27th. The month is going to end with the Shelby County Fair in Sydney. And then the Greene County Fair in Xenia, Ohio on the 2nd. August 5th, part of the I-75 Point Series in Glades County Fair in Wapakoneta. And then August the 6th and 7th is the Pike County Fair in Piketon. You can stay up to date with everything going on with Smash It online at smashitderby.com. And let's go here. The Hardcore Tour starting to whittle down the schedule down to only a handful of dates now for Frankie Guy and the Hardcore Tour. Additional details online at hardcorepromotions.com. July the 24th is King of the Hill at the Jacktown Fair. July 29th, 3rd, and the 6th of August is Destruction in Dunbar. August the 13th is Chaos in Coal Country at the Greene County Fair in Waynesburg. August 14th and 20th, Washington War Zone in Washington, PA. The 4th and 5th is the Labor Day Lockdown in Stoneboro, and then they go to West Alexander for the Route 40 Rumble September 7th and 8th. And everything culminates with the 2021 Hardcore Championship September 25th and 26th. 10,000 win final confrontation in Dunbar. $3,000 Jeffy's Fab Farm Mad Dog Award as well. So some pretty serious money on the line there as Frankie works through the balance of his schedule. So I had a note here from Alex Sager, and he says that the shot clock is no big deal since it makes us even, because he put me into a car and we had a grudge match. And I teamed up with Luke Schaffner in this grudge match. And the car that I had in my wagon, 03 frame wagon, did not have a braced rear end in it, and it split the drive shaft. And then my partner Luke got hung up and was still making qualifying contact. And when we tried to use the F11 function, his car reset, essentially eliminating both of us. So I had to pay up my debts after this fellow was trash talking us all weekend long. And then this guy came back up and he walked by and he goes, what's it like to wake up a loser? Is what he pointed out to me on Championship Sunday. And I said, if you think it was all your skill, then maybe we should go double or nothing. And that was when his dad came over and said, you can't talk to an 8-year-old that way. Sweet.
Oh, goodness.
It it was a fun time. Those guys were hanging around with us all weekend long, and they were helping out, cleaning up trash, and they certainly earned their keep that weekend. They were working pretty hard.
Cool.
It was cool, and they really enjoyed the game. And Lee had an audience with him all weekend long, so that was good to see. Hopefully it was worth it. We really hope that it was worth it. Jumping into the results from the Minivan World Championship this weekend. The Minivan World Championship, $2,000. Andrew Myers took that home over there with Hardcore. David Girton was second place. Brandon Cook was third. Hellraiser was Jordan Cook. Full-size points after going into the final confrontation. J.D. Loring leading the points with 60. Ken Kiskadden with 50. Chris Friend with 25. J.D. Loring won this weekend in the Hardcore class. Andy Burrows was second. Chad Friend was third. Not only a win, but also a Hellraiser award for JD. In the hardcore full-size hardcore compacts, Nick Rivetti got the win there. Corey Dakin and Jeremy Merriman running through the top three. Charlie Webb got the Mad Dog Youth Compact was Jocelyn White. Marissa Yeager was second. Hunter Collins was third. And then hobby stock Cole Teets over Bentley Fensel, Tanner Harden, and Cole Teets winning and Mad Dog there. Just running through a couple other details for you. 448 Promotions is going to be at the Dallas County Fairgrounds in Adel, Iowa. They were there this weekend. We're still waiting on results to come up from them. So 448 Promotions, keep your eyes on that page. Jacob Prusman, they did have a derby this weekend. Domination is Motorsports. Candace is going to be at the Manoa County Fair in Ottawa, July 16th and 17th. They're going to be back-to-back. Waseca County Fair is... Waseca County Fair is going to be on the 17th. Cannon Falls with Full Throttle Promotions. Matt Rosso leading the points over Craig Peters and Matt Schwartz. 115 points for Matt Rosso, 105 for Craig, and then Matt Schwartz with 95. Adam Maurer, Jason Smith knocking on the door in the back half of the top five. In the 80s class over there from Clearwater, back on going into the Independence Weekend, Lauren Frericks got the win in the 80s class over Brandon Stonsby and Thomas Buden. It was Josh Marketon that got the Mad Dog Awards. Point Series Trucks, Justin Magnuson got the win there. Matt Schwartz was second. Adam Maurer was third. Matt Russell was fourth. Roland Magnuson got the Mad Dog Award. Two-man Extreme class, John Muse and Dustin Groller got the win. John Kanzenbach and Justin Kanzenbach, a couple names we remember from up at Winter Slam, got second place. Jeremy Frederick and Jenna Frederick. We remember the Frederick names from trips up into Minnesota as well. They were third. And then Sean Shellstat and Dale Hotzchild were fourth. Drew Carrolls and Joey Carrolls got the Mad Dog Award there. And then the stock wild cards, Chad Boyd over Darby Hansen and Jeremy Soved. Riley Soved ended up with Mad Dog. Again, that was for Clearwater. I don't know if you saw that Skinny got third in Osage City down in Kansas. Since the last time we were on, so that was cool. Congratulations out to Skinny with that one. Angert Cooper, very provocative post on the Northeast Demolition Derby page. Angert Cooper calling out the Utah drivers. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was kind of interesting. All of the New York drivers rallying around that and in celebration. So I anticipate the conversations between Johnny Gumby and Josh are going to be a little bit more intense now. All the track shop meetings are going to be interesting with that. So that was kind of cool. That Wasatch Wipeout is the next show. We've been out there before, July 30th and 31st. That's coming up. Derby in the Dog Pound is coming up as well. They did the heat draws there, so those guys up there, Christy Germain, going to be busy with that.
I believe they're starting to talk about the beginnings of reopening Canada as well.
Yeah.
So that's great to hear for our friends.
They've tabled they tabled a couple of their events trying to move things around, and they've had some adversity up there.
Yeah, crazy.
Not the country as a whole,
Yes.
and in the process of reopening. Yes, they've had some challenges, but also on top of that, they've had some issues. Christy and Devin have had some issues with some of the facilities and just finding a way to make everything work. And I talked to her a little bit about some of the way things happened in New York, and you can't have anybody in the grandstands, but every street stock car had 12 pit members,
No kidding. Yeah.
Usually it's only the driver.
Yeah, it was amazing how many pit crews there was last year at Canada.
Yep.
So what do you think, Chris Marquardt?
Just making sure that we...
Do we hit everything?
I think so. 6,000 to win truck shootout is the 17th in Minnesota. So Brandon Thomas talking about the 6,000 to win truck shootout coming up. The bird is going to be flapping at the end of the month. Cryptic words from JYD, John Alexander, down in Maryland. So that'll be fun to see which bird exactly comes out of that shop, because he's only offered a few pictures, and it doesn't look like it's an Imperial, but he's run Mopars before, and I know he's not shy about throwing breadcrumbs down the wrong path. Eric Remington checking in. Eric Remington celebrating a bit of a somber memorial with the passing of Mark Carlson. So it was, yeah.
Did you see the picture?
Tough.
I think it was last weekend. Steve Siopa had his Dodge Demon parked next to one of his Derby cars in the garage.
Yeah.
And I texted him and I'm like, "Did you really park your?" He's like, "The Derby car was in there first, and then I pulled the Demon in." Apparently, he was having some work done on his garage at home where he stores it.
Does he have an Impala too?
Yes. Yeah, all decked out, airbags, the whole nine. I said, "Hey, because I'm a good friend. If you ever have work done in your garage again, you can ship the Demon up here, and I'll take care of it." Well, and he said he would keep me in mind for that next time. So,
Yeah.
If you're gonna dream, you might as well dream big, right?
I appreciate what you're saying there. Yes. Yep. But I think that pretty well covers everything that we were trying to get to. Andrew Myers, the minivan world champion. I think we hit on that for
Yes.
Frankie Guy. I'm sure we did.
Yes, you just talked about
Unless I said his name wrong. Cody Koch checking in. It's been busy. And
stick a fork in it.
362. It's been fun. We covered a lot of stuff. Nice to be back in the studio. Good to catch up with everybody online. Not sad to see this one end, though.
It wasn't 1,000 degrees, so I'll take it.
Right. Senate County Fair coming up in 2 weeks. We got the RC Derby. Excited to do that. Put the trophy order in. That's going to be fun. Ian Doyle celebrating a birthday.
Did you already put his name on the trophies for the RC Derby?
No, because I cheaped out and just made them generic and didn't leave any room for engraving. That way they're here ahead of time.
Perfect.
Yeah, I gotta get going. We got
Okay.
a graduation party Friday night, so we gotta get some work done.
All right. We'll see everybody later. That's it for us. We'll see you next time. The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah, online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. At stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and